All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the world of self-improvement with Gary John Bishop's Unfuck Yourself.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to take a look at this one?
Yeah, I have. I've read it a couple of times, actually, and
Okay, cool.
it's pretty great.
Yeah, this book is known for its, straight-talking, no-nonsense approach to help you break free from, self-sabotaging patterns.
It's like having a blunt but supportive friend.
Yeah.
Just giving you a pep talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the most intriguing ideas in the book is how our self-talk shapes our reality.
Yeah.
It's that constant internal dialogue that can either empower us or limit us.
Right.
And Bishop doesn't just, skim the surface here.
Right.
He dives into the science behind it.
Yeah, one of the fascinating things he brings up is neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
The brain's ability to change and adapt based on our thoughts and experiences.
So essentially, every time we have a thought.
Yeah, think of it like this. Every time you have a thought, it's like carving a path in your brain.
Yeah.
The more you repeat that thought, the deeper and more ingrained that path becomes.
So if we're constantly feeding ourselves negative self-talk, we're essentially hardwiring those negative patterns into our brains.
Precisely.
Wow.
But the good news is
we
can also use neuroplasticity to our advantage.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
By consciously choosing positive and empowering thoughts, we can create new, healthier pathways in our brains.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts, it's about actually changing the physical structure of our brains.
That's right.
That's wild.
Yeah.
A Bishop also quotes Albert Ellis, a pioneer in psychology, who said, if we can control our thoughts, we can manage our emotions.
Powerful.
How can we apply this to our everyday lives?
Well, think about a time
when
when you overreacted to a situation.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you spilled your coffee and immediately thought, this always happens to me. I'm such a cold. That negative self-talk probably sent you spiraling into a bad mood.
Yeah, definitely.
But what if instead you said to yourself,
okay,
it's just a spill. I can clean it up.
Okay.
That simple shift in your thinking can dramatically change how you feel and react.
It's like choosing to focus on the solution rather than getting caught up in the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Bishop takes this concept even further by introducing the idea of willingness.
Okay.
It's about approaching challenges with a different mindset.
Okay.
Instead of resisting or fighting against what's happening, we can choose to be willing to experience it, learn from it, and grow from it.
This reminds me of that quote from Marcus Aurelius. To bear this worthily is good fortune.
Yeah, love that quote.
It's all about how we choose to frame our experiences.
Right.
How does Bishop suggest we cultivate this sense of willingness?
He emphasizes the power of perspective.
Okay.
Instead of viewing problems as roadblocks, we can see them as opportunities for growth and learning.
Opportunities, not obstacles.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
He also challenges the way we typically think about winning.
Okay.
He argues that we're always winning in some area of our lives.
Okay.
Even if it's not the one we consciously desire.
This concept of winning is really intriguing.
Yeah.
Can you give an example of what this might look like in real life?
Consider someone who constantly sabotages their relationships.
Okay.
On the surface,
Yeah.
it seems like they're failing at love.
Right.
But what if deep down, they believe they're unlovable?
Okay.
By repeatedly pushing people away.
Okay.
They're actually confirming that belief.
Okay.
And winning in a way that aligns with their subconscious programming.
That's a really thought-provoking perspective. It makes you realize that sometimes our actions, even those that appear self-destructive, are actually serving a deeper, often unconscious purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is where the concept of buying yourself off with excuses comes into play. Bishop talks about how we often avoid discomfort or change by making excuses for ourselves.
Right.
It's a way of staying stuck in familiar patterns, even if they're no longer serving us.
Can you give an example of what buying yourself off might look like?
Think about someone who wants to start a business,
Okay.
but constantly finds reasons to delay taking action.
Oh, yeah.
You might say, I don't have enough time, or I need more money, or I'm not ready yet.
Those are all really common ones.
Yeah, these excuses are a way of avoiding the hard work and uncertainty that come with pursuing a dream.
It's like we're telling ourselves stories to justify our inaction.
Precisely.
Wow.
And Bishop's message is clear.
Okay.
Stop buying yourself off and start taking action.
Yeah.
He emphasizes that real change happens outside of our comfort zones.
This reminds me of his point about embracing uncertainty.
Yes.
So many of us crave certainty and control.
Right.
But Bishop argues that this can actually hold us back. How does he suggest we approach uncertainty in a way that empowers us?
He encourages us to see uncertainty not as a threat, but as an invitation to step outside our comfort zones and experience new things.
So instead of trying to avoid uncertainty, we can lean into it and see it as a catalyst for growth.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Bishop provides practical examples. Like trying a new restaurant, taking a different route to work, or starting a conversation with a stranger. These small acts can help us build our confidence and resilience. It's about recognizing that uncertainty is an inherent part of life. And that's okay. In fact, it is often in those moments of uncertainty that we discover our true potential.
That's a really empowering perspective.
Yeah.
So we've covered the power of self-talk, the concept of willingness, reframing our ideas of winning, and embracing uncertainty. All really important concepts. But how do we actually put this into practice?
That's the big question.
Where do we start?
Bishop's central message is, I am not my thoughts. I am what I do. He emphasizes that focusing on actions rather than getting caught up in our thoughts is key to personal growth. He even uses the example of the zone experienced by athletes and artists. A state of flow achieved through focused action.
So it's not enough to just think about changing. We have to actually do something.
Exactly.
And
one of the most powerful ways to bridge the gap between thinking and doing is to understand how action influences our thoughts.
Interesting. Tell me more.
Bishop highlights two key ways this happens. Firstly, there's something called cognitive restructuring.
Help me unpack that.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's all about consciously shifting the way we view our problems. Our minds tend to distort things. Blowing them out of proportion and making them seem scarier than they are.
It's like when you're running late and hit every red light. And suddenly you're convinced the entire universe is conspiring against you.
Exactly. But taking action challenges those distorted thoughts. We prove to ourselves that we can handle whatever comes our way. Bishop uses the example of someone terrified of public speaking. The more they avoid it, the scarier it becomes in their minds. But if they push themselves to give that presentation, they often realize it wasn't nearly as bad as they imagined. And that experience starts to chip away at their fear.
So by taking action, we're essentially gathering evidence to disprove our negative thoughts.
Precisely. And this creates a positive feedback loop. The more we do, the more confident we become and the less power our negative thoughts have over us. The second way action influences our thoughts is by turning them into reality. Bishop has this great line, while your thoughts can become your reality, it's only through your actions that your thoughts actually become your life. Until then, they are only thoughts.
I like that. So it's not enough to just think about our goals and dreams. We have to take concrete steps to make them happen.
Absolutely. You can dream about starting a business all day long. But it's only when you take specific steps like registering a company name, building a website, or making your first sale that you actually become an entrepreneur. It's about moving from the realm of thought into the realm of action.
This makes me think about Bishop's concept of winning, which we talked about earlier. He argues that we're all wired to win in some area of our lives, even if it's not the one we consciously desire. This idea was pretty mind-blowing for me.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Can you elaborate a bit more on the difference between those conscious and subconscious desires? How they might be playing out in someone's life?
Think about someone who constantly struggles with money. Even though they say they want to be financially stable, they might say they want to save and invest, but their actions tell a different story. Maybe they're always making impulsive purchases or avoiding opportunities to earn more. On a subconscious level, they might be winning at being broke. Because it confirms a deep-seated belief about themselves or the world.
Like a belief that money is evil or that rich people are unhappy.
Exactly. So they might be unknowingly sabotaging their efforts to achieve financial stability. Because it conflicts with their underlying belief system.
That's a really powerful insight. It highlights the importance of self-awareness. of paying attention to our actions and understanding the motivations behind them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Bishop provides us with tools to help us shift those patterns.
Okay.
One of those tools is the concept of relentlessness.
Okay.
He uses the inspiring story of Arnold Schwarzenegger to illustrate this.
I love a good story. Tell me more.
Schwarzenegger had this ambitious vision. He wanted to become a successful bodybuilder, an actor, and even a politician.
Wow.
But none of that was handed to him.
Right.
He faced countless obstacles and setbacks. What set him apart was his relentless pursuit of his goals. He simply refused to give up.
Wow.
Even when things seemed impossible.
So it's not just about setting goals.
Right.
It's about having that unwavering commitment to see them through no matter what.
Exactly. And Bishop emphasizes that relentlessness isn't about brute force or pushing ourselves to the point of burnout.
Okay.
It's about focused, determined action.
Right.
It's about getting back up every time we fall down and taking one step forward, even if it's a small one. He makes it clear that it's not about achieving perfection. It's about making progress.
It sounds like embracing uncertainty is a big part of this, too.
It is. We can't always control the outcome of our efforts.
Right.
But we can control our effort.
Okay.
Bishop uses a great analogy of a mountaineer climbing a mountain.
Okay.
There will be moments when the climb is smooth, and others where it's incredibly tough.
Right.
There might even be times when you need to adjust your route.
Okay.
But as long as you keep moving forward, you're making progress toward your goal.
So it's about focusing on what we can control, our actions and our responses, and letting go of the need to control everything else.
Yes, and that brings us to another crucial principle from the book.
Okay.
I expect nothing and accept everything.
Yeah.
I know this might sound counterintuitive,
Yeah.
especially in a self-improvement context,
Right.
but it's about understanding the potential pitfalls of expectations.
How does he distinguish between expectations and goals?
Bishop explains that expectations are often unspoken,
Okay.
these mental images of how things should be.
Okay.
When reality doesn't match up,
Right.
we feel disappointed, frustrated, or even angry.
Okay.
It's like when you plan a special dinner for your partner and they come home stressed and preoccupied,
Yeah.
and you feel hurt because they're not reacting the way you expected.
I can see how clinging to those expectations can set us up for disappointment.
Exactly. Bishop argues that expectations create a gap
Okay.
between how things are and how we think they should be.
Right.
And the wider that gap, the more we suffer.
Right.
He's not saying we shouldn't have goals or plans.
Right.
He's saying we should approach them with a sense of acceptance and flexibility.
So it's about acknowledging that life is unpredictable.
Right.
That things rarely go exactly according to plan.
Exactly. It's like the difference between a dance and a march.
Okay.
A dance has a rhythm and a flow, requiring us to adapt to the changing tempo.
Okay.
Bishop emphasizes that this doesn't mean we have to accept mistreatment or settle for less than we deserve.
Okay.
If someone is treating us poorly, or if the situation is no longer serving us,
Right.
we absolutely have the right to speak up and make a change.
But we should do so from a place of awareness and choice.
Exactly.
Not from a place of resentment or unmet expectations.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we have the power to shape our lives,
Okay.
but also accepting that we can't control everything.
It seems like there's a real sense of freedom in that.
Yeah.
Freedom from the pressure of needing things to go a certain way.
Right.
And freedom to respond authentically to life as it unfolds.
Absolutely.
This idea of letting go of expectations is something I'd love to dive into a bit deeper.
Bishop provides some really insightful guidance on how to do just that.
Okay.
One of his suggestions is to start by identifying one specific area of your life that's not going well and where you find yourself making excuses. Bishop calls this buying yourself off.
Yeah, that's relatable. I think we've all been there. We know we should be doing something, but we keep putting it off.
Right.
Whether it's exercising regularly, finally having that tough conversation with a loved one, or pursuing that passion project we've been dreaming about, it's like there's this gap between what we know we should be doing and what we're actually doing.
Exactly. Bishop's challenge to us is this. Stop doing all that shit, you shouldn't be doing, and start doing all the shit you should be doing.
He's definitely not one to sugarcoat things. But I think that bluntness is what makes his message so effective. It cuts through all the noise and forces us to get real with ourselves.
And he encourages us to take action, even if it's a small step. The point is to break that cycle of inaction and prove to ourselves that we're capable of more.
So it's about shifting from I'll do it someday to I'm doing it now, even if it's just a small step in the right direction.
Precisely. And once we start taking action, We need to be relentless in our pursuit of our goals. It's not about being perfect or achieving overnight success. It's about making consistent progress.
This goes back to the mountaineering analogy you mentioned earlier. There will be challenging stretches, moments where we might stumble or even need to adjust our path. But as long as we keep moving forward, we're getting closer to our destination.
Yes, and embracing uncertainty is a huge part of that journey. Life is unpredictable. Things rarely go exactly according to plan. Instead of fearing that uncertainty, we can choose to see it as an opportunity for growth and adventure.
It's about letting go of the illusion of control and trusting that we have the resilience and resourcefulness to handle whatever comes our way. And that's a powerful shift in perspective. It takes the pressure off needing everything to be perfect and allows us to be more present and engaged in the journey itself.
Exactly. Bishop reminds us that it's this simple. In order to improve your internal world, you have to start by taking action in the external world. Get out of your mind and get out into your life.
That's such a great takeaway. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Unfuck Yourself, I want to leave you with this question. What's one area of your life where you've been buying yourself off with excuses? What's one action you can take today, right now, to move toward what you truly want? Remember, you have the power to change your life. It starts with changing your self-talk and taking action. Until next time, keep diving deep.